Tottenham 3, Qarabağ 0. Tottenham get their first win in Europa League phase play. Welcome into Top of the Perch. I am your host, as always, Nick Burt. Tottenham playing in their first European game in basically a year and a half. They haven't played since, I believe it was the beginning of March 2023, when they lost to, of course, AC Milan on aggregate in the Champions League round of 16. Of course, they did not qualify the year after for European play. We are here now in the Europa League, this new look Europa League with two extra not even group stage games because the group stage isn't a thing. It is 2 league phase games more, so we have 8 games, 4 home, 4 away, 8 different opponents. It's something, but today Tottenham get it underway at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium against the Azerbaijani side, Qarabağ, a team that just seems to feature in European competitions as of late. They seem to always start in the Champions League qualifiers, end up in either the Europa League or the Conference League. And for Tottenham, this game ended up, the scoreline little bit deceiving to what it kind of was. Tottenham, I don't think there was ever any doubt they weren't going to win this game, but there were still some struggles, definitely. You start off in the 7th minute, Radu Dragusin loses the ball in the midfield, and it ends up on a breakaway for Qarabağ. Dragusin is just an absolute, his head was on Mars, a absolutely insane foul from him. It goes straight red. Tottenham are down to 10 men just 7 minutes into the game, and the game has basically barely gotten underway, and Tottenham are going to be down a man for the rest of, the next 85 minutes, basically, which, again, an absolutely insane foul. There was no reason whatsoever to be doing that 7 minutes into the game. Of course, that leads to tactical changes, leads to... Bergvall is the one... it was awful for him. Obviously, this is his first start in the Europa League for Tottenham. He did get some playing time in Europe last year with Dunsgaarden. And he gets subbed off for, it was Udogie, which, it sucks for Bergvall, but sometimes somebody had to get subbed off anyways. So we move on. 12th minute. It was a brilliant feed in the box from Solanke. He gets it to Brendan Johnson, who is he's on fire right now. That is 3 goals in 3 games. He puts Tottenham up 1-0. And unlike certain teams where when they go down, to 10 men, they decide to sit back and park the bus, Tottenham really didn't show any signs of that today. They were going to be clearly on the front foot all day. Given the starting lineup that was put out by Ange Postecoglou, I was a little bit critical of it. I'm like, I don't think we need to be going this heavy for Qarabağ, but I always respect my opponents. We should play to the highest level that we can. And I also think the Carabao Cup showed that, hey, we can't really rotate a lot of players because a lot of these players are not first team quality, especially when you are trying to win a trophy. Tottenham, like I said, they had plenty of chances in this first half, but Qarabağ held their own in this game. They also had plentiful opportunities. I know there was an attack, I believe it was like the 29th minute, that ended up being flagged for offsides. That would be a little bit of a feature in this game. And right off that offsides call, it was Brendan Johnson going down on the counterattack. He ended up beating the goalie. He had a wide open net. He could have passed it. He ended up shooting it. It goes just wide of the post. As we went into halftime here, Tottenham were up 1-0. it was a deserved 1-0, even though Tottenham, weren't playing sensationally. It could have been a lot worse. As we get into the second half, Brendan Johnson would be subbed off at half for Dejan Kulusevski, which, I thought Brendan Johnson had a good first half, but obviously it wasn't the best. But Kulusevski would come up crucial just like 6 minutes into the second half. A corner kick delivered in by him, ends up in the box, bounces around a little bit, finds Popsar on the far post. He puts it in the back of the net, and it is 2-0 for Tottenham. Although, 2-0 can't be guaranteed. Very much felt like this, obviously, the game wasn't in as much question as it would be if it was 1-0. You get Qarabağ on the attack once again just a few minutes later. And it was Bissouma taking down a player from Qarabağ in the box. Leads to a penalty for Qarabağ. This was going to be obviously their best chance in this game. And their penalty taker, which I will not try to butcher his name out of respect for him, he skies it above the bar. As it remains 2-0, obviously not the greatest of penalty kicks, especially in a game like this where it felt like if you got a goal and it was 2-1, this game becomes much more different. Tottenham, basically right off that penalty, right back down on the attack, almost a goal, forced a key save from the goalkeeper for Qarabağ. And then we get into the 68th minute, I should say. It was Solanke, just a beautiful attack. He takes a brilliant shot. He had a wide open net off of a shot that deflected off the goalie. He had a wide open net. He should be finishing those, and he does. Makes it 3-0 to Tottenham. Again, no real surprise. It felt like this game wasn't ever not in question, but with the scoreline, little bit deceiving, as that would be obviously how the game would end at 3-0. But I said that this scoreline is deceiving, and I say that because I will now bring up the stats for this game. Tottenham didn't really have the stats to show for it today. Qarabağ had 51% of the possession. You look at shots, they had 14 total shots. Both teams had 5 shots on net or on target, whatever you want to call it. So they're pretty even there. If you look down at expected goals, I know a lot of that for Qarabağ was for that penalty. I think that roughly averages around to a 0.75, somewhere around there for penalties. But 2.22 for Qarabağ and only 1.5 for Tottenham. So a little bit of a surprise there. Tottenham, it was pretty even on the passes too. 476 for Qarabağ, 466 for Tottenham. Fouls, obviously, Tottenham had the one red card in there. Both teams only got one yellow card. Bissouma would be the one for that challenge in the box that ended up being the penalty. A win is a win. It didn't feel as dominating as it kind of should have been, but here we are with this scoreline. So let's take a look at the player ratings for this game. And as I said, Ange Postecoglou went for it attacking-wise today with this lineup. Really, there weren't a ton of changes here in the starting 11, which quite surprised me, but here we are anyways. Son, I gave him a 6.9. I didn't really think he had that outstanding of a game today. He just wasn't there, it seems, but again, it is what it is. This was a game that he didn't need to truly show up in. Like I said, I was surprised that he started. He got subbed off with a potential injury, which could be kind of crucial come Sunday, traveling to Old Trafford, which is why I kind of didn't think he should start this game. But nevertheless, here we are. Dominic Solanke earns an 8.4. He earns the man of the match. He had the assist on the first goal. He had the goal to make it 3-0 and really seal this game. Thought he had a really good game. I think his best in a Tottenham shirt so far. He earns the 8.4. Brendan Johnson earns 7.7. 3 goals in 3 games. This man has really turned it around from his slow start to the season. Really enjoying what we're seeing right now. It feels like if he doesn't have a ton of pressure on, he just goes out there and balls. Really looking forward to see how he takes on the rest of this Europa League. Lucas Bergvall, he really didn't have much to be graded on. I thought he had a good first 12 minutes, and then he gets subbed off, which it's brutal, but that's part of the business when one of your players is just an absolute idiot in the first 7 minutes. Yves Bissouma, 7.1. That foul in the box didn't need to happen. It was just, not good, which I think is part of the reason why he got subbed off too. 1, with him being on the yellow card, and 2, because that foul was just idiotic. Popstar earns an 8.2. He had the goal to make it 2-0. It was a brilliant finish at the far post, which of course you got to get credit to Kulusevski on that one too, with that brilliant drive into the box on the corner. I thought he did really good in the midfield. Obviously, this isn't the toughest of competitions, or of opponents, I should say. Still, thought it was a very good game from him. Ben Davies, another decent performance from him. He earns a 7.8. It feels like he can really play any position here on this back line. He's kind of just a filler, which is why I still enjoy him being at this club. If you're not calling on him in key moments, he's a good filler player, and I like that with him. Mickey Van de Ven earns a 7.8. The only player out of this back line that was, starting last weekend against Brentford. I thought he had a decent performance, earns a 7.8. Dragishin, nothing more needs to be said. He earns a 4.0. Probably, honestly, could have been lower, but when you make decisions like that, that's just, it's idiotic, is really, truly what it is. Archie Gray, he earns a 7.7. I thought he did really well. I don't love him playing on the back line because he's more of a midfielder, but I'm going to let it be. He's playing well right now when he does play, so I'm happy with that. Vicario, another kind of shock that I was shocked that he played today, earns an 8.4. I thought he had a brilliant night in that. He did face a little bit more than I think everybody expected, and he gets the clean sheet, so that's pretty good. Destiny Udogie, he obviously got subbed on for Lucas Bergvall to bring some help to that back line, earns a 7.3. Thought he did good in the duty he was given. Kulusevski, he had that good assist on the well, it wasn't an assist, but he had a brilliant drive into the box off a corner. Really didn't see much else from him in this game, but given the time he was subbed on, don't really expect much. Bentancur and Werner both earn a 6.1. It is what it is with both of them. More of that with Werner than it is with Bentancur. I just don't think there was much for Bentancur to do. The game was on lock when he came in. And Mikey Moore makes his European debut in the 84th minute. Obviously, there's nothing to be graded on there. Very excited to see where that goes, though. I wish he got the start today. I feel like there's probably one other game in the Europa League where he could potentially start, and that is, in January when they host Elfsborg. I thought he should have started today. Obviously, he didn't. Whatever. Ange Postecoglou, he earns an 8 because he really showed that he's kind of going for this one with the lineup he put out today. And I'm glad I didn't see Fraser Foster today. So given that is going to wrap it up for this recap of League Phase Game 1. I don't know what they're officially calling this, but whatever. Tottenham travel to Old Trafford on Sunday. That's going to be something. Can't wait to see how that goes. It's going to be tough. I know that. Then on Thursday, they travel to Budapest to face off against Ferencváros, I believe is how it's pronounced in the Europa League. So the Europa League days start coming quick. So make sure you like and subscribe to the Nick Perch Sports Network for all the recaps on all Tottenham games. So that is going to wrap it up for this episode of Top the Perch. Thank you so much for watching. If you just stumbled across this video, click like, click subscribe, tell anybody you know about it. We'll be back Sunday night to recap everything that happens in whatever this game against Man United, I should say, is going to be. Because I'm sure it's not going to be fun, because it never is. So thank you so much for watching, and we will see you again soon for another episode of Top of the Perch.